Trading Nut, episode 186.
I don't understand. Your son has a better chance at being a great trader than ever going to the NBA. The NBA has been open for 70, 80, 90 years. Only 5,000 people or players have ever played in the NBA. That's it. That's it.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the Trading Nut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we have Swaggy C on the show. Finally, Chris Williams. It's taken me probably over a year to get him on. The guy's busy as, and we finally made it happen just a few weeks ago. Guys, and it is epic. It's an absolute epic show all the way from his home now in Puerto Rico. Now, we talk about things from baby pips to babysitting to having a baby. We dive into a lot of great detail. There's so many nuggets in here. You're probably going to need to listen to the thing a couple of times. We go from his very first trading success all the way through every step of the way, breaking it down to where he is now. Swing trading, live trading in front of his group of people pretty much every day. We did shoot a video after this as well. We're going to get to see Chris break down a price chart. He uses stuff that I haven't seen on the show before. So, yeah, really want to check that out. It's over there on the YouTube channel or on tradingnut.com and the show notes, links under the video if you're watching or in the podcast description. Now, before we get into it, just a reminder, the July Trading Nut Funded Cup is underway. Leader of the Cup is currently at 102% return already. I can't believe it's only been running for like a couple of weeks. Now, if you missed out, there will be another Cup coming up, so stay tuned for that. So stay tuned on Trading Nut or head over to City Traders Imperium, check out that leaderboard, and you can probably sign up for, you might be able to sign up for the new Cup there soon as well. Now, last but not least, before we get into it, the Robot Builders Club, the price has returned back to normal after the whole Algo Funder Mastermind bot release, and you can now get, if you join the OMB bot, Open Market Break bot, which is based on the break of a candle on the market open. I built this. It was a strategy submitted by one of my members who uses it to trade the ASX. So thank you for that. And you guys get access to it if you join the club this August 2022. Links under the video for that as well. All right, folks, enough from me. Let's get on with the interview. As you'll know, as a trader, one of the biggest issues can be coming up with enough capital to make it worthwhile. Well, the good news is my sponsor, City Traders Imperium, have solved this problem for you. Their day trading and swing trading funding programs mean you can trade between $10,000 and $4 million in capital with up to 100% profit share. Yes, you get everything you make on the account. Plus, the folks at CTI have made it super stress-free, allowing you up to 6 months to pass the funding challenge, which means if life gets in the way, you can park things for a while and stick to your trading plan. To check them out, click the link in the description below or in the card above. All right, folks, here we are on Trading Up. We've got Chris Williams, aka Swaggy C, as you probably know him from YouTube and the likes, in the house. It's taken us all day to get to the stage where we can actually record. He's in Puerto Rico. I thought he was in LA, then I thought he was in New York, but no, he's in Puerto Rico. I'm in New Zealand. Here we are. He's up at crazy hour o'clock. But I'm so glad to get you on the show, Chris.
No, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I've been watching your podcast for a long time, so I know I'm hard to reach at sometimes, but I knew eventually I'd be on the podcast eventually. So it's a blessing, man. It's an honor.
Yeah, well, look, I'm so pleased to get you on because I've been watching your stuff for a number of years, from all sorts of weirdness at the start, not from you, but from people in the community to now, and even finding out things like the fact that you were actually a Big Brother reality TV star, which I only realized yesterday, and I was like, what? And I think you're the second reality TV star on the show. A guy we had on before was called Adam Mesh. I think it was episode 149 of 52 Traders, and he was Average Joe. He was part of the Average Joe series where they paired them up for dating. And did you meet your wife on Big Brother?
I did. I met her on Big Brother the first time. Like the best part is that, like, if you Google it, you could see us literally meeting for the first time. Hi, my name is Swaggy. My name is Bailey. For the first time. It's crazy.
I tell you what, I'm definitely going to go and try and hunt down that series. What series was it? Because was it series 12? Was it?
What season? Or 20?
20, season 20. Okay, I'm going to try and hunt it down and watch it because it'll be crazy.
Bro, it's crazy. It's something we can always show our daughter, like ever, always.
That is mad. That is absolutely mad. Well, look, we've got a bunch of traders listening to the show, and I know they'd love to get us talking about Big Brother, but I think what we should do is start with your trading journey and go from there. So how did you get into it and how did it all evolve? Because I see you were posted as a day trader on Big Brother, so you obviously got into it before that.
Way before, yeah. So Big Brother was in 2018, but I got into trading in late 2014. So what happened was my dad had just passed away in October. And once he passed away, and I was playing Division I basketball, but I took like a little leave of absence to go to his funeral. When I came back, I was, trying to do anything to make him proud. And I was playing basketball, but then I was watching like a battle rap going to the cafeteria. And before the battle rap came on, an ad from Ty Lopez came on. And he was like, here in my garage and, health, wealth, love, and happiness and boom, 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 boom. And something in his first 5 seconds caused me not to skip the ad. I'm going to turn this AC off, but it caused me not to skip the ad. And I watched the entire thing, the whole 3-hour seminar, and I bought his program. And within that 67 steps program, he was talking about Forex, stocks, options, real estate, social media marketing. But Forex was the only thing that I could get into for like $100. Because you had to realize I'm a broke college student. I got like $5 on my account, $10 I'm asking mommy for money, $50 here and there. I'm getting refund checks. So after that, I jumped into Forex and I just jumped right on baby pips. I found baby pips in like maybe February 2015. And I didn't really study baby pips too much until the summer. I did little by little. But then once the summer hit of May, from May to August, all I did was study baby pips the entire time. And then there was a company around called like Wealth Generators, WG. It was like some MLM, but it was like pushing Forex. I didn't know what an MLM was. So I just joined and it was like, we have our leaders doing this and this and that. So like, okay, I'm just going to learn from the best. This is what life is. It is, you know what I mean? And then I did that. And then I went back to college. When I went back to college my last year, and this kind of ties it all up, I wasn't playing my junior year when like Division I basketball. Like I was on the bench. So for me, I was like, I'm on the bench and the best player on my team is averaging 30 and he's not even getting an NBA tryout. Like he's going overseas. So I'm just like, okay, if that's the best case scenario, I got to figure this Forex thing out. So once our season ended, you can look at the dates too. I did this in my second year of trading results. Our season ended March 6, 2016. You can look it up. St. Peter's lost to Fairfield University on March 6, 2016. So from March 6th, March 7th and beyond, it was our first week of like no practice. You got to understand the basketball player, especially Division I, you're practicing from like 2 to like 8. You're doing weight room, then 3-hour practice, then film session, then recovery. Once all that was gone, it was my first week of trading. I made $2,000 in a day. My first day without trading. It was March 10th that I made $2,000. I put that screenshot in like my second year trading results video on my channel. And once I made that $2,000, I was like, yo, I'm dropping out. I got to drop out. I have to focus on this full time because for me, I really thought I found something that I was great at, like something that like, or I could be great at. So 2001 day, my first week without, practicing, and it's my first like real year in the market, I'm going to drop out. So 3 months later, I dropped out. I told my mom, like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be a Forex trader. You could either support me or, be mad at me. She chose to support me, which helped me out a lot. And long story short, what I did at that point, I dropped out, was I needed some type of guaranteed income to fund my accounts. So I didn't drop out of college to work at a job. I started babysitting, and I only babysat rich kids. I babysat for like 3-4 years in the rich. If you look up Greenwich, Connecticut is the richest city in the richest state in America. Greenwich, Connecticut, the richest city in the richest state in America.
Yeah. I actually was looking at it on Google Maps the other day for some reason. I know, yeah.
Yes. So, and I lived in Bridgeport, which was a hood. It was like 40 minutes from Greenwich. So I would literally take the bus or the train. Like, even though it's a 40-minute drive, the bus got to stop to get there, or the train got to stop. It would take me 2 hours just to get there. I'd babysit them for 5 hours and then leave. I do that literally like 4 or 5 times a week. I was making like $5-6 grand a month, and I was using that money to fund my account. Now, just back it up for a little bit. Like between me dropping out to like for those 3 years of babysitting, I bought like 9 different courses, like literally 9 different courses on like how to trade, what to do, what to do this, different strategies, which we'll get into later. And then what I did was eventually I got to a point where I just meshed all the strategies together in my head after about 3 or 4 years. And then I started trading consistently. And then now we're in year 8 and I'm still going strong.
Wow. And all the way back to that very first trading week, I mean, can you remember how on earth you made 2,000 and what did you have to put at risk? What was your balance? Was it like craziness or just a lot of luck, or what happened?
Looking back on it, it was for sure a lot of luck because I had like a $300 account. I'm not going to lie. Realistically, so that wasn't my first week of trading. That was my first week of trading without practice. I was trading last year, blowing accounts, and my first real trade, I was in English class, like Brit Lit or something like that in my sophomore year of college. We were studying Oedipus Rex. I was so uninterested. Looked at my phone and I was up $250 on Euro USD. Like when you're a beginner, it's like, oh, trade Euro USD. It's the the best pair. It's the big one. You know what I mean? Lowest spread. Let's do it. So I was up 250. And that kind of opened my mind, like there's a big possibility in this. And this is before I even touched baby pips. Remember, I came across the market in February to May. I was still looking at baby pips, but I didn't really dive deep into it. And then literally an hour later, I blew that account just risking. But a year later, when I made that $2,000 trade, I had a $300 account size. I used a standard lot, but it must have dropped, or I don't know if it dropped or went up. It did something. If you look at the actual screenshot, I can even send you the screenshots. You can put it up here. Like it must have dropped all type of crazy because I only used a standard and I made 1,900. It was like 1978.72. So I just said 2,000. And I was like, wow, that's actually crazy.
And what can you remember? What I know it was a long time ago, but I mean, can you remember what you were trying to do at that point? Did you have had you even decided on strategies, or were you just like, this looks like a buy, this looks like a sell?
It looked like a buy or a sell, whichever one. I can't remember which one it did, but what was crazy is like at that point I had only bought, aside from baby pips, I only bought one course. It was Steve Morrow's Beat the Market Maker course. That was the first, aside from wealth generators and baby pips, that was the first course I ever physically bought. And the trade was so opposite of what he was saying. It was just like I was going off what Baby Pips was telling me and what YouTube was telling me and what Wealth Generators was telling me that. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this. Like the Beat the Market Maker method sounds way too complicated. You got mustard moving average, you got 4 different moving averages, you got all this. It's like, it's too confusing. I'm just like, I'm not even going to do it. So I just traded a different way and I made that money and I decided I was going to drop out from then. Now, afterwards, real quick before you ask your second question, it wasn't like the next day I made another 2,000. It wasn't like that. It was like, okay, now I'm going back into the ebbs and flows of making 200, losing 200. You know what I mean? But it showed me the possibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how did that ebb and flow go? Like, was there a point in which you got, did you carry on? Did you blow accounts? Like, did you blow more accounts after that 2,000? And did you? At what point were you going, I've actually now got it? And how did that transition all happen?
Yeah, I would say I probably blew maybe 3 or 4 accounts after that. But the blowing the accounts wasn't like, okay, yes, anytime you blow an account, you're being stupid. You're over risking. You're over leveraging. I get that, but it was more so just a mistake on my end. In the beginning, when I was blowing accounts, like before that $2,000, it was just, I didn't know how to trade. I didn't know what I was doing. Afterwards, it was like, okay, I'm being too greedy. You didn't really have to get in this trade. You knew what you were doing. Like the trade just went against you. It wicked you out. Like, why'd you even risk that much? So whenever I blew those accounts, the last 4 never changed my psyche. It changed my psyche in terms of, I got to be better, but it didn't change my psyche in terms of, you don't know how to trade. The first 4 when I was blowing, I was like, damn, I'm just wasting money. I don't even got money like that. I'm using refund checks. I'm asking mom for money. Like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, for sure.
And so you said you took 9 different courses after that. And
yeah,
I mean, first of all, like there's guys out there listening that are obviously wanting to, look for courses and find courses they can invest in and stuff like that. I mean, what was your sort of methodology in terms of finding the mentors that you wanted to learn from and individuals you wanted to build up? I suppose you didn't know at that point that you wanted to build or take things from different parts of different courses, but what was your thinking around, like, I want that course, I want this one?
Yeah, for me, I was just so hungry for success. I didn't care whose course I bought. It was a matter of, this person is doing what I want to do. They have some secret formula. I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to figure it out or die trying. And like I said, I started with Baby Pips, but it was a free site. It was like, how much can you really get from a free site? You can get as much as you can, but that back and forth interaction, you can't get that from Baby Pips. You know what I mean? It's all like you on your own. So then I went to Wealth Generators, but it was too much. It was too much recruiting. Like I said, I didn't join Wealth Generators to recruit and sign people up. I don't like that. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing this no more. Then it was Steve Morrow's Be the Market Maker. And I was like, okay, like I get it, but I don't understand. It was too much this and that. Like too many big words, especially for me at that time. I knew there had to be a simpler way. Then I went to Storm Lewis, who's now Storm Bryant. She doesn't have any YouTube videos up anymore, but her YouTube videos was crack in 2016. I swear she was killing the game. Her name was Storm Lewis. I wish to this day her videos was up because they got me through some crazy times in college. Storm Lewis, Jason Stapleton, who doesn't even trade Forex anymore. I think he's like a news anchor or a podcaster or he does options. Yeah. Something. If you type Jason Stapleton, his face will come up, but it's like him interviewing people on like politics. It's not like him trading. When back in 2016, it was really him like, this is a bat pattern. This is confluences. And it was like, wow, he really got me through a lot. Then it was, I studied Astro's course. I bought Astro FX's course, and all of that money was coming from babysitting money. Like I would just buy courses, just because I felt like, okay, there's more that I'm missing. And it didn't get to the point where I bought like a few more courses after that. So I was like, okay, I bought all the courses that I possibly can ever watch. It's time for me to like try to put things in motion. So I started building my trading plan. I was like, okay, I kind of veer more towards this than this. When I trade on my demo account, when I trade on my small little live account, I'm using this strategy, not this. Let me X this out. And I took like a full year to just figure out a strategy and kind of go from there.
And how did that, like, because I think this is quite an important part for a lot of the guys listening, is how, like, coming up with that strategy that they can make their own versus, getting a course and trying to follow something that maybe doesn't fit in with their routine or they just struggle to understand it like you did with that Beat the Market Maker. What methodology did you use, or how did you talked about crossing things off, but if you want to go into the minutia there and explain how you exactly sort of went down to finding out, even like looking at the chart, this is what I want to trade, this isn't what I want to do, or this I think works better and this one doesn't.
Yeah. For me, it all comes down to, well, can you still hear me right now?
Yeah. Yep.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, for me, it comes down to comfortability. Like, it was just, what am I comfortable with and what makes the most sense to me? What am I using and actually applying on these charts? What am I not? Like, I've been telling people out there, don't ever buy a course to copy the trader verbatim. Reason being is because chances are you are not going to be the exact same trader as that person. You may be a scalper, but you're learning from a swing trader. You may like certain things that he do. And I tell people this: if you're going to spend money with the mindset and the expectation that I'm going to take at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of things from this guy, maybe even 10, 20, even 50%. I'm not going to take everything because everything is not going to work for me. But if you go to this one course and you're going to learn something, you're going to need to learn something that you can take with you, or something you don't want to do. That's worth it to me. Like, even me spending the money on Steve Morrow, I spent over $1,000 and I didn't even have it. Even though I don't trade that way, it was worth it because I knew what I didn't want to trade. And number two, he taught me some things in there that I took to the next thing. But for the most part, it was like, this is how I don't want to trade. That doesn't take away from him. That doesn't mean he's not a good trader. That just means the style he trades is not necessary for me because it's too complex for me. Steve Morrow is like a 52-year-old man who's like very, very well off and retired. He's operating from a 1990s, 2000 like type of mindset in trading. He's probably refined this over a 30-year period. Me, I'm a rookie coming in. I don't know all about, at that time, the CFTCs and all these other things and liquidity and I don't know anything about, institutional, and I don't know nothing about that back then. So I was like, okay, this is way too much for me. I'm just going to go back to baby pips. You know what I mean?
And how did you...
But it does come down to being comfortable. That's all.
Comfortable. And I suppose before I ask the next question, like in terms of being... So you might assume you're comfortable with a moving average crossover or something, quite sort of rudimentary like that. But you can see that it fails all the time when the market whipsaws up and down. I mean, how did you sort of tackle that? Like, well, I like that, but it doesn't really work that well. How did you overcome that?
Yeah, it's weird because starting out, I used like RSI. Like I was like the heaviest RSI. Like I would have not like an RSI shirt, but realistically, like everything I did was RSI, got to be above 70, below 30, like I just indicator based. And then I realized it just didn't work as much. Like the market could do whatever it wanted. It didn't give a damn if it was way over, like it'd be way over 70 and still be an uptrend. It's like, okay, I can't base my trades off of if it's over 70, get ready to sell. Like, no, that's what they teach you on. Like, no, that's not the reality of the situation. So I had to take certain things off. The moving average, for the most part, once we get to my charts, you'll see that I have them off. I if anything, I may throw them on real fast to see what the moving averages say, but for the most part, I keep my charts clean as hell. Ever since I read Naked Forex, it kind of opened my eyes to like just having a clean chart and not being consumed by the lateness of indicators, when price is already moving in a direction, so.
Yeah. And what about, like, I suppose, taking those learnings from all the different courses and bringing them back into what you do, and then now training other people on what, how to trade? I mean, how do you sort of mentor guys that come through your programs and get them being able to overcome the hurdles of, like, trying to copy somebody whose style may not, for whatever reason, not quite resonate with them, or there's elements that work and stuff that doesn't?
Yeah, I had to tell them out the gate, like, and it really dawned on me in 2020 when I started seeing people, like a few people, not a lot, maybe like 4 or 5 people, like, would make YouTube videos about me, like, Swaggy's this, and I hate Swaggy. I don't trade like he does. He's not a trader. And for me, it was just like, I looked at him, it was like, I had a serious talk with, at least one of them was like, had the ball to talk to me personally. It was like, I just didn't understand what you were saying. And I went over here to somebody else who was doing this, and I understood what they were saying. I'm like, that's just more about you on what is comfortable for you. Just say that you weren't comfortable with my style of trading. I'm a swing trader. I like to hold trades for days, let alone weeks. You are more of a scalper. You want to get in and out every 5-10 minutes. I don't trade like that. So don't say that I can't trade like that. Just say I don't prefer to. You learn somebody else. So for me, ever since those moments in 2020, I tell people this when they come into my programs or my live trading programs, when like I trade live in front of them, like, yo, guys, when you guys come in, do not come with the expectation that you're going to learn everything from me. You may learn a lot from me, or you may learn that, okay, I don't want to really learn like this. I'd rather be a scalper. I'd rather do this and go for somewhere else. But I tell people this, like, I'm probably there's industry leaders out there who's like, yeah, buy my course and don't buy anybody else's course. My course is all you need. That is not true. That is not true. I'm somebody who's saying, go out there and buy 10 other courses. Go buy courses from my competitors. Buy them all. I don't care. It's not about money to me. If at the end of the day, you as a trader, like the person who's learning, is going to make money, and if it means buying 5 different courses and trying to piece it together, do it. I don't have the ego where it's like, you can learn everything from my course and you're going to be the greatest trader. Some people may, but some people may need the extra help and extra piece to put it together. Go do it. I'm not going to hold you back. And I try to tell everybody that when they join my program.
Good advice. Good advice. Now, you mentioned their live trading sessions. Obviously, you run for your members, I'm guessing. How, and this is sort of something I've always wondered, like, how do you go from, like, trading by yourself and just trading, at home and or wherever, and you're in front of the computer just by yourself, to now trading with a whole bunch of people watching? Was that transition hard? Was it something easy? Were there difficulties around it? Can you explain that in a little bit?
Yeah, say that last part again, because it kind of cut off. You said going from trading by myself to, like, what, trading in front of people?
Yeah, basically trading in front of people. Yeah.
So for me, the hard part was more so the teaching part. So I just launched something like last week called the Live Trading Lab, where I trade live in front of people damn near every day. They get to see it. They get to see performance tracking here, so they get to see it all. And for me, that was easy because it reminded me of the early days where I was trading by myself. The hard part was teaching. And I'll tell you why, because I'm just trading by myself. I get all this information from these 9 different courses, plus baby tips from all the different places. And then I'm posting my profits, my losses on my stories. And all these people who know me from reality TV, from Big Brother, you got to realize when I came off the show, I had like 230,000 followers, 220,000. I had so many followers. So they're watching my every move. And anytime I post something that's not about me or Bailey, because we were like a big couple on the show, and I'm posting like me making money, it's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Boom, boom, boom. Like, can you teach me? Can you teach me? So instead of teaching everybody, I created a course, and it was so hard because I'm making 80, 90, 100 videos, and I'm editing all the videos and I'm putting it all in the course. And then there's some people who's like, I don't get what a pip is. I don't get what a lot is. And for me, it was like, damn, I kind of see what those leaders I was learning from kind of feel, because you got thousands of students like not grasping it. Somebody may grasp everything out the gate. Somebody else may not understand what a lot size is, and they're 3 months in. Like that was the hard part for me. And I'd like, instead of being like, figure it out, I'd be like, okay, let me make another video and try to break it down simpler. So I'd make an updated video in 2021, an updated video in 2022. And so I got to the point where I was like, I'm done making courses. Like, I don't know if you've seen, but I stopped, like, I didn't stop my course, my program. I still have it, but I'm done making any new courses. I feel like I've taught courses for 3 years now. What people want to see now is trading live and them being able to trade live with me. So I launched a new platform where traders can trade live with me. They can either watch me trade live, or they can trade live and I can watch them, and we can all be on Zooms together, just trading live together. And I feel like that is what's helping students, because they get to see me in real life action, my psychology. If I'm making money, I'm losing money. Am I really acting how I'm preaching? Like I'm telling people in these videos, be robotic when you're in a trade, win or loss. Okay, now you get to see if I'm in a win or loss, am I robotic, or am I going around acting all crazy on the Zoom? Like, what am I actually doing? And that's benefiting people a lot. And that part, believe it or not, is easier than making a course, because it reminds me when I'm back in my home, just trading on my laptop by myself, it's just the cameras on me, as opposed to when I'm making a course. It's like I got to make 100 different courses. If I stutter, or if the video messes up, I got to start over. It's too much, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. You're probably in one of the unique situations or positions whereby you've got people coming into your world who have no idea about trading but want to make money, and they're from ground zero. Which I think most of the people that watch my podcast or listen to my podcast are not at ground zero, because if they were, they'd probably be turning it off pretty quickly as soon as somebody mentions pip or lot or something that's actually, in a funny way, knowing all this stuff is not going to make you money in the market. That's what I think all traders who understand trading know that I don't care what, I'm not going to watch the video where it tells me what a pip is, or tells me what a lot is, or tells me how to press the buy and sell button. And it's like, I don't care. This is not my problem. That's not the problem you're trying to solve. That's interesting. So yeah, that's a challenge for you with that additional fame that you've got at the start. Quick question before we jump into some more technical stuff around the trading. Did you win Big Brother? Sure. Did you win Big Brother?
Oh no, I didn't. And to kind of do can you hear me?
Yeah.
To kind of wrap it up in like 60 seconds. No, I didn't. I actually was the second one eliminated, but I made such an impact in my first week and a half that the whole house did not like me, sent me home. But it made me so happy, believe it or not, because we all have that ego inside of us where like a lot of people was writing us off, and people didn't really like me and my wife coming off the show, and they kind of castrated us. We didn't get the autograph. Like all my castmates got like autograph, well, most of them, autograph signings, meet and greet. Nobody booked me and my wife because they said that we don't think you guys can draw a crowd. And that made us feel crazy. So we felt like we were like at the bottom, but then I went super crazy in the market, in my own brand, my life, my channel, to where now we're up. Now all those people are like coming back to me like, yo, can you help me make money? Can you do this? And it's just crazy how the world turns. So no, I didn't win, but I actually won, because I got a wife, I got a daughter from it, and I'm a multimillionaire. So yeah, I won. If you want to say it like that.
And just on that sort of mindset kind of thing, because obviously it is a mindset game for to get to that point. I mean, what do you think made you different from everyone else out there, from a trading point of view, and from just a whole mindset persona around money and wealth generation and finance and that sort of thing?
It's easy for me. I was homeless growing up. Like I was homeless twice. I think a lot of people who have general backgrounds where they come from the middle class, or they didn't have too much money growing up, but they had some money, or they grew up with money. Like it wasn't like me and my family was poor. I was legit homeless. Like I lived in a shelter for like a homeless shelter for a full year. I lived in a car for 6 months. And it wasn't like I was 2 years old when it happened. I remember I was in 8th grade when it happened. And then I was 7 years old the other time, 6 years old the other time when it happened. And I remember, like I said, leaving the bus stop, and all my friends would like run to their homes, and I'm walking to the shelter embarrassed that I got to sleep in the shelter for a year straight. So I would tell myself every night that like, I'm going to make sure when I grow up, my kids never got to go through this. So it was really easy to answer that. Like, why am I different with money than everybody else? I take it very seriously because I know what happens when you have like none of it, and like nobody's going to help you. The government isn't going to be there. Your family isn't going to be there. It's like, it's your problem only. So I made it like a priority for me to always, like, if I'm going to master anything, it's not love, it's money. And then from there, it's going to be everything else after that.
And so I mean, that's definitely a massive driver, and I can understand, why you've got to where you are now. But from a mindset point of view, do you feel that that's sort of like, what's the key difference that you see yourself doing versus what other people are doing, who aren't getting to the point where they're moving in? Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. You can continue.
Yeah, I was going to say, to the point where they're moving from New York or Texas to LA to Puerto Rico, and they've got this multi-million-dollar lifestyle and the bank account to go with it. I mean, what is it that you were doing differently from a mindset point of view versus what you see other people do, that you think, oh, if you did this, then...
Yeah, for me, it makes sense. I was just taking action, and I felt like it was because of my childhood, like in terms of how bad it was, that I told myself that I had to master money. Like, I was literally taking action. I was not scared of any risk. Like, for me, I was like, I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to be in the city where everybody's networking, but I'm still be a day trader. I wasn't scared to post my videos online. I got friends who probably are better traders than me, who are scared to post on YouTube because they're scared of like the backlash or the feedback they may get. They're scared they may only get 20 views. I'm like, yo, you're literally ill. Like, I've seen how much money you make. Like, post it on YouTube. Like, because like they're talking about, I want a personal brand like you and this and that. And like, everybody knows you and Q and Astro and James Storm and Lambo Raul and all these people. They don't know me, but yes, you are a great trader, but we all put ourselves out there. So going back to Big Brother and things of that nature, it's like, I just was never afraid to just be myself and put myself out there and take action, take risks, move to LA. Okay, LA's getting too crazy. I'm gonna move to Texas. I lived in Texas for 3 months. I hated Texas, moved back to LA. Hated LA again because I moved to Puerto Rico. I'm not scared to fail. That's the biggest thing. People are scared to fail. I've talked to one girl on Big Brother who was actually my enemy on the show, but we ended up talking years later, and she was telling me she hates where she lives, but it's comfortable because her family's there, and like her counterpart wants to be there, but she really does not want to be there. She wants to be somewhere else, and she feels miserable, but she doesn't want to disappoint anybody. I don't give a damn who I'm disappointing. Like, I come first, and when I say I come first, I mean like there has to be a compromise if you're in a situation, but if you're not, like, you have to come first, and that means any means necessary. And the biggest thing, and I don't know why I didn't even start with this, is I don't party. Like that has been my number one secret to success for years. Ever since 18, 19 years old in college, all of my college friends will attest that you did not see me at any parties. Like, you cannot find a picture of me. There's been no parties that I've been at other than like the midnight madness of like, oh, it's a college basketball team, midnight madness, let's hype it up, that type of thing. Other than that, there was no local Friday night party that Swaggy just at. I was in my room studying every single weekend. Like, at 18 years old, I still had the dream that I could get a trial with the NBA. So I was playing basketball. Like, that was occupying every single weekend. All my college friends in Boston was partying, and they thought I was crazy for playing basketball. And then I ended up transferring to a D1 school, and now they're all crazy good at basketball, but they're all partying, and I'm studying Forex. I came across Forex, when I was 19. Yeah. Even to this day, Alex just told me just now, he's like, yo, I see you. You don't really party. No, you won't see me at no strip club. You won't see me with 10 Lamborghinis. I don't care about none of that. I just want to work, be successful, and put my head down. And I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest difference with me and everybody else is that I just work. All I care about is work and my family. That's all I care about. I don't care about everything else everybody else care about.
Guys, rewind this about 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe, and play that again, probably 3 times. That is great advice. Absolutely great advice. And I think, from a mindset point of view, it's so hard for a lot of people to get there, but if you can get there, you're an example of what can be achieved. Let's dive into the trading part here. So, has your trading evolved like recently, or once you found consistency and profitability? Oh, actually, let's even dive back a little bit further. So, how did you go from trading? You mentioned a small live account and a demo account, like way back in the day. How did you up the capital to be able to sort of make something that was more than, pocket money? How were you able to up the capital?
You said more than what?
more than like, a few $100. So say like where you're actually making significant sort of return on that capital, maybe either from a percentage point of view or from a dollar value point of view, if you were like, flipping small accounts or things like that.
Yeah, it came from babysitting. Like I said, I love all my families. I still talk to like at least a few of them to this day. But like I said, when you're getting $5,000 or $6,000 almost every month, and it's coming from watching little kids and playing tag with them and playing 2K, I never went home when I'm trading exhausted from work like I didn't want to work. I wasn't working a 9-to-5 job where I'm just exhausted all day and I got to come home and learn how to trade. I was playing I'm a basketball player. I'm playing basketball in the backyard with little kids, teaching them how to play basketball, then playing video games with them, putting them to sleep, and then I'm on the charts until the parents get home, and then I'm on the charts when I get back home. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm getting this money. I'm going to keep putting it into an account. And I got to a point to where I was comfortable. I think I made like maybe, let's say, like $300 one time, and I took that money out, that withdrawal out, and got myself like a haircut and bought some stuff from like Walmart. And aside from the $2,000 that was like a year prior, whatever the case may be, like that was one of those first times that told me that the money you make in the market is real. I think one of my closest friends, his name is Xavier Bennett. He told me that people look at the market as if it's some video game. Like you see all these numbers on the screen, you're up $100, you're up $400, you're up $500, you're up $800, you're up $1,000, but you never click take profit because it's just numbers on the screen, as opposed to literally taking profit and then going to your broker and withdrawing maybe half of that money and then using it to see, okay, this money is real. It's not just numbers on the screen. So ever since then, that's what told me that, okay, this could be real. So then I ended up depositing like, $1,000 into an account and tried to like take a 1,000 to 10,000, 1,000 to 5,000. And I would go from 1,000 to 5,000 several times. It just wasn't as profitable or not profitable, consistent until a year down the line. Like I tell people all the time, I didn't become like consistent where I feel like I'm comfortable. I can trust my analysis. I'm consistent. I can do this all the time. It's like my 4th year in the market. Around my 3rd year, I would make money, but then it was like the next week I'd lose money, or next week I wouldn't make anything at all. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit inconsistent, but the strength, the mental strength that came from being able to just flip those accounts, it came from babysitting. Because I knew, this is why I tell people all the time, do not quit your job just to trade if you don't have a track record, or if you never traded just yet. Keep your job, maybe get a better job that's more lenient so you can learn more of the market. And then, because you need a guaranteed income. Until you become insane in the market, you need a guarantee. It's hard to like, if your rent money is relying on you trading and you're not like great just yet, like you're still learning, you're in some trouble. Because there's so much to learn than just a summer on baby pips or just one person's course. Keep that guaranteed income. And I had that guaranteed babysitting income until I felt like I was good.
And with those weeks where, you had an up week and then you had a down week and a flat week, I mean, how many weeks would you have as up weeks versus the down and the flat week? And how did you deal with the down week and a flat week? Was it so that you knew the up week was coming? And you didn't like flip out and go, oh, I've got 3 down weeks in a row.
I guess right now, I don't care, bro. Like of course, I'm aiming for an up week every week, but that's not realistic to have an up week 52 weeks out of the year. Like, it happens. But my psychology is such a different level. I don't care anymore. Back then, sometimes it would mess with me. Like I'm making 2,000. So my mom just like, okay, if I make 2,000 every week, that's 8,000 a month. That's basically 100K a year. I had to do this every single week. I'm good. I'm about to be, the littest 21-year-old ever. And then the next week I would make $14. And it's just like, how did this happen? Or the next week I would lose 300. It's like, okay, like what is going on? I would actually I would start I wouldn't say doubting myself, but I'd be like, yo, like you're playing around. Like if you, in my notes, I still have some of them. I like rewrite my trading plan, but it wouldn't be a trading plan. It'd be more like a note to myself, like, Chris, you can do this. You've been studying for 2 years now. Like, what's wrong? Boom. Like, I constantly write notes to myself because it would mess me up to be like, I just made 2,000, 3,000. Like, I'm lit. This is going to be continuous, and then it's not. So I never looked at like next week as if I had a down week. Okay, I had a down week. Next week can be an up week because you can have 10 down weeks in a row. It's not realistic, but you can have 10 down weeks in a row. There's no guarantee that you're going to make money in the market. So it was kind of deflating a little bit, but I would say the more back testing I did, the more studying I did, I just took a quick break sometimes. It helped tremendously to get back on track.
And you're trading from then to what it is now. how similar are they?
In terms of like what the strategy?
Yeah, your style and your strategy, how similar compared to like back then to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so the strategy overall is the same. The style is different. Like I'm more of a swing trader now, whereas before I was an intraday day trader. Like I was literally an intraday trader to where like I'm damn near taking trades every single day for the most part. Whereas now I'm way more of a swing trader where I will trade and just hold it for a few days, 3 days, 2 days. It could even be 1 day, but for the most part, I'm holding it. Like I'll show you the trade later on AUD USD where I held it for like the entire week, and then the very next week I got in again because I do so many different things. I can't afford to just sit in front of a chart for 8 hours straight. And I tell students this all the time, like, figure out what you want Forex to do for you. Do you want to be in front of a screen for 8 hours a day? Or do you want to make that money, have it making money for you, whatever the case may be, and then going out and living your life, being on a vacation, or being with your family, being with your mom? Or do you want to be on the charts? Because some people genuinely enjoy being on the charts all the time. For me, I as time went on, I didn't want to do that. Back when I was 21, yeah, it was cool because I was, single and I was living at home and I didn't really have to pay rent too much. I was babysitting, so I could be on the charts. I don't got nothing better to do. I don't like partying. I'm not doing all so I can be a day trader every single day. Now I have several businesses. People want me on TV. I'm declining shows left and right, and I'm getting offers left and right. I'm getting business offers from, whether it's Astro or Q or this trader. Everybody's trying to do a business deal with me. And then I'm doing business deals myself. And then it's just all these different things. And it's like, I can't afford to be on the charts 8 hours a day. Like I'm going to be on as much as I can or as least as I can because I know what I'm doing. So I try to analyze the market as much as I could on Sunday. Like every Sunday I will take that entire Sunday to just analyze and back test and do this and get my bias. So read all these articles on these different news sites, get my bias. And once I'm in a trade, use a higher lot size and then hold that trade and then go live my life and monitor it as the days go on.
Okay, so let's dive into your trading now. What you're doing now. So, what timeframes are you looking at, analyzing, and then getting in on and monitoring those trades?
Yeah, so the 2 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily. I'm a higher time type of person. Sometimes when I have all four, the chart layout on TradingView, you can have 4 screens open at the same time. If I do that, the top left will be a 15-minute time frame, for the most part. But if I'm just using one screen at a time and I'm toggling back and forth, it's the 2 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily for the most part because I'm looking for the longer term trend. I don't care about what the market is doing today. I want to know what the market did the last 2 weeks so I can try and trade in that direction. So I don't like counter trend trading. The market may go up for me, but it may go down for you. For example, if you could be a day trader, and what I mean by up and down, I mean for a very, very, very long term, it's coming down, but you're buying it because as a day trader, it's in a quote unquote uptrend because it's as a day trader. But as a swing trader, I'm looking at it from the last 2-3 weeks. For me, it's a retracement. It's just retracing. I've been selling it. It's just retracing. You're in a buy. For me, it's retracing. I'm looking for a better entry, and then it's going to come back down. So for the most part, I'm looking at a daily, the 4 hour, the 2 hour as far as my time frame. Daily to analyze. 4 hour to kind of get my confirmations. If I see a strong bearish or bullish candlestick on the 4 hour, I'm entering based off that. And then the 2 hours where I'll actually enter. For the most, sometimes 1 hour, but 2 hour, 1 hour is where I like to enter at.
And 2 hours interesting because not many people talk about the 2 hour chart. Now, how did you stumble on the 2 hour chart, and what gave you confidence? That that's your fourth chart.
Yeah, for me, it's I like to see as little amount of candles as possible. You know what I mean? If you look on a weekly time frame, you look at 4 candles, that's a month already. I don't like looking at the 15-minute time frame. I can look at 1,000 candles, and that's just the last 2 days. It's what am I looking at? It's too much clutter for me. So looking at a 2 hour time frame, it's simplified the 1 hour because the 1 hour I needed 24 candlesticks, whereas a 2 hour I just needed 12, and it's the same thing as what the 1 hour did. And a lot of times, sometimes with the 1 hour will go up and then come down, and that 2 hour just kind of simplifies it to it's okay. That's whatever it just did in those 2 pairs. It's just all in one pair, and in the 4 hour, it's just double that. So now I have the 2 hour and the 4 hour as opposed to a major gap between. Here's a 1 hour time frame, screw hours 2 and 3, and then here's a 4 hour. I kind of go 2 and then 4 and then daily. I had an 8-hour time frame one time, but that was just too much for me, so I just got away from that. So 2, 4, and daily.
And so, like, so it sounds to me you don't, well, as you said, you don't like looking at too many candles, right? So by looking at less candles, in my mindset, it means that you have probably a better understanding of what every candle means. Would that be correct?
Yeah. I focus on what these candlesticks are actually saying, because somebody can get all mixed up in the day-to-day operations of, AUD, USD, or GBP, AUD, GBP, JPY, like the day-to-day stuff. And for the weekly time frame, all it did was just a simple doji. It just consolidated the entire week. But you're getting in on all these rapid movements, and it just was at an equilibrium the entire week. So I like to look at a longer term perspective, because like if I know the trend is going down on a daily time frame, weekly, but a daily time frame, because a weekly can you can look at a weekly and you can be looking at 6 months ago, and I don't want to go that far. So when I say a weekly time frame, I'm talking about just the week by week, but it's really a daily time frame. You can be looking at a daily time frame and it's heading down. If I know it's heading down long term, I'm going to trade down. I'm not looking at any counter trends to get in. I'm looking at counter trends to spot when that counter trend is going to end, so I can enter based off that counter trend ending.
Righty-ho, gotcha. Now, what about how many trades will you be taking a week now then versus, I suppose, even back then when you were taking intraday trades?
Bro, back then I was taking 16, 30 trades a week. I was just in and out.
Yeah.
Maybe even more, because there would be sometimes I'd have 8 trades a day, and it's not like they'd all be profitable or all be losses. Sometimes they'd be broken even, or I'd get in, I'd be in for 8 hours, but it didn't do nothing, so I closed it, or I was in drawdown, but the market came back, so I closed it, or I was in profit, and I came back to my charts without having I wasn't monitoring it enough or had any alerts, so then it came back to break even, so I closed it because the trend clearly reversed. Whereas now I'm probably, so before I opened my live trading platform, I was probably taking maybe 1 or 2 trades a week and just trying to hold it. 1, 2, 3 trades a week. Now, since I opened my live trading platform, it's just so fun to trade live with everybody. Cause it's just a few things. One, you get all these talking heads on YouTube who want to say this about everybody. This person's a guru, this person doesn't trade. And then I open a platform where there's a performance tracker history on there that you can monitor anytime you want. And then you're watching me trade live all the time. You're seeing my lot size. You're seeing I'm on a regulated broker. That's something nobody want to talk about. Everybody want to have these 100K, 20K, 300K days on these unregulated brokers. I'm on a regulated broker, and they see that, and then it's crickets. There's no apologies. There's no, oh, you actually do trade live. There's none of that. They're just going about their day. But for me, when I say it's so fun to trade live and see people trading live with me and benefiting from it. But since I opened that platform, I kind of find myself trading a little bit more, because it's I'm looking at my students' trades. I'm just wow, you guys are killing it, having fun. I'm holding my trades. Then they're looking at me okay, what trade are you getting in? And for me, I'm just I'm a swing trader, but you're an intraday trader. Okay, I look at the market right now. Damn, I actually do see something. All right, let me get back in again and scale in and do something like that. And I just opened it Sunday, so it's only been a week since I had it open, but I actually placed, I think, 6 trades last week. And that's the most I've probably traded in a week in 2 years, bro. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
And was it hard to transition from that 30 trade week to a 2 trade week when you made that transition?
I wouldn't say it was. It's not as hard as you think, because something fulfills that time. At the time where I was taking those 30, 40 trades a week, I was doing absolutely nothing but babysitting. Now I'm taking 2 or 3. Those times where I would be taking the extra 30 trades, my wife is occupying them. My team, my YouTube is occupying me, teaching other people, which, it feels very liberating and makes me feel grateful, I'm doing something good, is occupying that time. So I don't really miss it, because it's not like I'm just taking 2 trades and just being lazy. Something is occupying that time. So that doesn't feel like I'm missing anything.
Cool. And what about risk to reward ratio? That's what I want to find out, is how many R would you be going for on a typical trade, and how do you manage those trades?
It's funny, because I looked at and I put this, I gotta send you the video of it, but I looked at my broker, and they have a little analytics thing, and I'm always preaching make sure it's it's a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, 1 to 3 at a minimum. And I look at my broker statement, and it's your average risk to reward is 1 to 2.9222, whatever. And it's like, okay, that's kind of 1.3, but like, damn, it's like 1 to 2.92, same thing. But I guess that's my average risk reward ratio based on stats. You can't argue with stats. But like me, realistically, I would like a 1 to 3 at a minimum for me, for example, because it tells me I'd have to lose. If I keep it the same, I have to lose 3 trades, just win 1 trade or lose 3 trades to like break even. And I like to keep it at that as a minimum as opposed to going 1-1 or even 1-2 sometimes. As far as average duration, that's probably, I think it said 2 days and 18 minutes or something like that as the average duration. Sometimes I will hold it for the full week. Sometimes I will get out like 12 hours later because I don't really like it too much, or the move already happened that quick. Like if it's gold, for example, chances are I'm not going to hold gold for a full week or 2. I'm just not going to do that. That's more of a daily intraday type of pair to trade. So something around 2 to 3 days, the average time based on stats and stuff.
And what about average win rate?
So the average win rate I had was 80%, which was crazy to me because so I posted my average win rate twice on Instagram. I put it as my actual post. One of them, if I could find the post right now, one of them was 75. Yeah, it was 75%. I posted this picture. My win rate was, this is for my broker, it says 75%.
Yeah.
And then this was February 21st of 2022. And then I posted the updated version of that same brokerage on forex.com, the analytics, and it said, it's literally right here, if I could find it in 2 seconds, it said, it's freezing. Yeah, okay, it said 80% win rate, basically, if you see that.
Yeah.
It went up. It went up 5%. Up an 80% win rate. I like to post a lot on my stories, and like people know I'm from reality TV, so I like to like keep my life engaged, just post everything on social media and stuff. So I posted that, and it's at 80% right now.
And what instruments are you trading? What symbols? Anything, or you limit it?
I think I'm like the only trader who like hasn't really dived into like US 30 just yet, or like NAS 100. Like I'm still sticking with GBP AUD, AUD USD, GBP USD, gold. Like gold for the most part is like my exotic pair. Like it's a metal, obviously. Like, but like that's my craziness for the day, as opposed to US 30. I actually got into US 30 a little bit like last week, but I've been doing great with my 3 majors plus the metal of gold, so I've been fine. But I'm probably the only trader who like won't come up here and give you like a US 30 strategy, because I don't have a US 30 strategy. I don't trade US 30.
It's interesting, because a lot of people tend to, especially when they're trying to trim down what they're trading, will just go to US 30 or NAS 100 or something like that. But you've just stuck with the Forex tried and true. That's good. Yeah, cool. Now, what about your typical...
Yeah, it makes sense to like... Oh, go ahead.
What about your typical trading day? How does that pan out? And this could include everything else that you do as well.
So I just did a day in the life on YouTube, and I kind of outlined everything. If you go to my YouTube channel, I did a day in the life of my life in Puerto Rico. And how it is at nighttime, once my wife goes to sleep, she goes to sleep around 11 or 12 EST. So London starts in about 2 or 3 hours from that time. And I know GBP USD moves at like 4:30 in the morning, every single morning, damn near. I know gold kind of moves towards like, late Asian, early London, that kind of overlap. So once it gets to 12 to 1, I'm going to my office. I have a separate office that's like, it's supposed to be like a pool suite, like a pool guest house that they had in Puerto Rico, but I use that as my office. And I kind of go in there, I look at the charts, and I will be on live with my live trading lab. I will analyze with them. And for the most part, what I do is I set alerts a lot. Like you won't see me stalking a pair for 2-3 hours. I'll look, get a bias for the pair, and then I will set 2 alerts, one above, one below price, on where I think price could go. Because I'm a trader who is not like I gotta be right 24/7. I gotta make money. I tell traders all the time, I don't give a damn if you're right or wrong. Did you make money? Like if you said the market's gonna go up, but it's going down, I'm not going to make fun of you for being wrong. I'm going to make fun of you for not being smart in closing that buy trade and getting it on the sell. Like, that's just the reality. Like you want to make sure like you're right. So me, for the most part, I'm gonna have a bias, but I'm more so like, if the market does this, then this is gonna happen. But if it also does this, I can see this happening as well. So I like to place alerts like on the chart that reminds me this would be my entry if price were to get here. And I place several alerts on the chart, and then I just close the charts so that the minute, if I never get a text on my phone from TradingView that says, boom, this alert is hit, then the market is still in between those lines. But once it gets hit, I know where the market is going to go from there. In my opinion, that's just like a guess that I'm doing. So if the market could text me anytime between 1 8 a.m. And let me know that I'm supposed to be getting in a trade, if it does give me an alert, I would get on, a webinar, place the trade live in front of everybody. If it doesn't give me the alert, then that time is literally I'm reading for 3 hours. I'm making a YouTube video for, my YouTube channel, or making a video for the academy. Or I may just, take a nap, because a lot of people know I don't really sleep as much. I may use that time to take a nap instead of just sitting up waiting. I don't like just waiting for things. I do use pending orders sometimes. Mainly reason is because I like to do a lot of things that help with my psychology. And if you follow me for a little bit, for me, it's like, from my history, I don't use pending orders a lot, but for me, from my history is, when I was coming up, like especially my second, third year, when I would place sell limits, sell stops, buy limits, buy stops in the market, nothing ever happened. And I go to sleep, I would wake up or go to practice, not practice, but like basketball, just playing around with my friends, LA Fitness, whatever. I check my phone. My psychology isn't running around with my heart beating like I'm in a trade right now. Like I know when I place market execution, especially back in the day, I'm walking around like I'm in a trade. I'm checking my phone every 2 seconds like I'm in a win or a blah, blah, blah. When I placed the pending orders, I realized that only two things can happen. Either I'm not in a trade or I'm in a trade, but I at least have that option. And then I found a lot of times where I would go to sleep, I would wake up, I'd be in profit, but I'd look at the actual trade and I was probably in drawdown for a few hours. If I was awake during that drawdown, would I have closed? Would I have messed up and been all scared and closed out? Those pending orders for me, just being away, being asleep, and then checking my phone as being profitable or waking up in profit, helped my psychology out. So back to the point about my routine, sometimes I'll use pending orders, but if I do get an alert, I will place market execution, and then I'll do that until about 7, 8 a.m. And then I'll probably sleep right before New York session, and then kind of wake up towards like noonish when it's like the market's kind of like slowing down a little bit.
And what about, because I've tried to use alerts before on TradingView, and like, they work great for me sometimes, but what I find is when life gets in the way and you can't get back to the chart in enough time to get a trade on. How do you overcome that? Is that an issue, or are the timeframes high enough that you're always going to have enough time to get back to the chart?
Yeah, so that's you hit it right on the head when you said the time frame. Like for me, if I was a scalper, every second counts. Even as a day trader, every minute counts. That's how I look at it. Like a scalper, literally, like you miss 5 seconds, you probably just missed a trade with a scalper. As a day trader, you missed 2 minutes. Price done went 30 pips lower or higher than where you wanted to get in, and your stop loss got to be too high at that point. As a swing trader, not really. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes doesn't really make a deal. One candle doesn't really make a deal because you're holding it for the long term. You're looking for anywhere between 100 pips and 400 pips every single time. You're not looking for a quick 40 or a quick 30. So for me, if life does get in the way, I'm still fine because I'm a swing trader. When life doesn't get in the way, I just got to get my phone and try to place the trade, or get my laptop and try to place the trade. Because for the most part, nobody knows this, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have like 12 computers in my home, like literally like 12 computers.
Seriously?
Like I have 3 laptops, 3 monitors, 2 big Mac Pros that cost $50K each. And then I got like 2 desktop MacBooks, and then I got like a 49-inch monitor. And that's not all for my setup. Like this is a laptop I can take on the go. One is for my wife. I use it from time to time because hers is a little bit smaller. The 3 monitors is like my trading setup. The 49-inch is like more for a trading setup. The other 2 computers like edit for my editors who fly down from Los Angeles to edit. But I always have my laptop with me. I will never be without. Like life won't get in the way to the point I can't get in reach of a laptop.
Yeah, okay, so that's how you do it. Because I was wondering, like, if you're shooting a YouTube video and you get pinged, you want to put a trade on, what would come first, the YouTube video or the trade? How would you manage it?
The trade by far, because a YouTube video, like the beauty of YouTube, you can edit. You can't edit a trade. You know what I mean? Like you can modify and move your stop loss and a break, even things of that nature. But a YouTube video, I can stop midway through, pause it, and then pick back up like I never left, however much time later, and then just edit it on Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, whichever one I want to use. I use both and just go from there. YouTube can always wait.
And what about like the scenario where you get, say you've got 10 alerts set and you get 5 of them go off at exactly the same time or there or thereabouts because there's been a big spike, news spike or whatever it is. Have you had that scenario that you've had to overcome with, and like you get to the chart and you're like, which one do I go for? And that one's, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, back in 2017, I had to worry about that, but I don't do that no more because I only place I only look at, like I said, 2 to 3 pairs.
Yeah,
like
of course, yeah.
I have 4 set up on TradingView, but I use like to trade 2 out of that 4 every week. So I will never get to where I have 10, 12 alerts, like it'll only be the 2 pairs I basically chose for the week and kind of go from there.
And okay, what about like somebody starting out in this? What steps would you say, hey, go through these steps to get to the point of being able to grow an account?
In my opinion, figure out what pair works for you. Like, I would say go through all the pairs and like take a few months to kind of get used to it. And so, because I realized early on, I don't like New Zealand USD. I don't like USD JPY. There's certain pairs I don't like to trade. Figure out what pair works for you. Once you figure out which pair or pairs, it don't got to be just one, but don't try to do like 5, 10, 15. Don't try to do too much. Hone in on those pairs. Like I remember talking to Sean and Nat one time from Astro years ago. And, we was having a conversation over dinner, and they were talking about what they tell their students. And it's just like, if I ask you where AUD USD is right now, can you tell me? Can you tell me what happened last week that affected it? If not, you don't know your pair. You know what I mean? Like you should be able to know ins and out. Like does the CPI really affect this pair? No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. Does NFP even matter with this pair? Yes, it does. No, like what is actually going on? Like the prime minister for the UK just resigned. How does that affect the pound? I just read articles last week that said this shouldn't affect the pound because of macroeconomic things are much bigger to deal with, things that nature. So like I'm constantly reading articles about the pairs that I'm trading. And one of the things I would tell people right now is figure out what your pair is and figure everything out about it. It's not just a technical point of view. Read the fundamentals about it and hone in. Know what key levels it likes to stop at. Know if it likes to stop at these certain levels because chances are it's going to get way above or way below. It's going to come back to those levels eventually. But you in your mind know, okay, it stopped at this level before. I know this is already a major area that price is going to, stop at. So figure out what pair you like and do not over leverage or over risk. Like do not trade more than you can handle. It's only going to be bad for you.
And what about like if they had to, so now jumping, I suppose, into a price chart and you said, well, now you're on a price chart, these are the things you should be looking for. What things would you recommend?
For me, for the most part, I would try to say keep your chart clean as possible, but try to use the tools that are given. Like I know a lot of people, who use, smart money concept and things that they should be saying, oh, don't use like support or resistance. No, you use all of them. Like I keep telling you this all the time. It's not the strategy that makes somebody profitable. It's the psychology behind it. You look at all these different traders, damn near all of them got different strategies, yet they're all profitable. It's what do they all share the same mindset and psychology on how they approach the market, how they go about it, how they, like it's a job, try to be consistent. They do the same thing over and over again. Telling somebody on the chart, use the tools that they have present. If you don't like them, great, don't use them, but use all the tools present. For me, if I see a blank chart, I'm going to figure out which key levels that the market actually likes to respect and actually stop at. Especially because like if price is at 1.79, I'm not going to look at 1.98 or 1.52. Like, that's too far away. I want to look at which levels nearby just like to stop at, and then mark my chart based on where it stopped at, where it likes to stop at, and then see if I can, if it's a trend line. That's one of the biggest things. Like aside from where it stops at, is the market trending? There's only 2 things the market can do: trend or consolidate. Like up, down, trend, or consolidate. Figure out which one's doing and then trade on the side that it's doing. Like that's the biggest thing I could tell them. Figure out where the trend is going and trade in the direction of the trend.
And what you mentioned mindset there, I mean, do you have any special sort of tricks or hacks or something, maybe something you've even used in the past to help get your mindset or help somebody else get their mindset right?
Yeah, I just don't care. Like that's the mindset that I have. It's like, I said this in my video where the video was titled, becoming a millionaire in Forex in 6 months. That was clickbait because when the minute you watch the video, it was like, becoming a millionaire in Forex in 6 months will not happen. I just didn't put the "will not happen" in the video. I want them to actually listen to the video for what it was. You know what I mean? But in that video, I said, if you come into this market giving yourself a timetable, or excuse me, it's not time, a time limit, you're a scam. Like, you're a scam who's saying, I'm going to come in, and if the market doesn't make me money in 3 months, then I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna quit. Like, you are a scam. So for me, I look at it as I said this in that video as well, where the market is not responsible for your problems. Like, all you come to the market with, low on bills or this and that, the market's not responsible. So for me, once I realized that, it all was just easier for me, where it's like, okay, the market has nothing to do with my situation. The market did not get me here. The market is a tool that I can potentially, if I'm good at it, use to get me to, higher highs. We want to talk about the trading perspective, like higher highs realistically. Okay, I don't care. The outcome is the same. And I learned this from trading. Everybody talks about trading in the zone. That's not my favorite book, but in talking about trading in the zone, one of the things that I took from that book that helped me tremendously, and again, I don't know why I didn't lead with this, was he had mentioned in that book, Mark Douglas, look at athletes. Athletes just react instinctively to the market. Like, they don't care. They obviously, you care if you win, but they react instinctively on like what they think is going to be the best. And you realize every single time that you did just enough to pull through. And I'm looking at it as a basketball player. Like, there are games where I shot 9 for 17. That means I missed 8 shots or 6 for 22. That means I missed 16 shots, but we won the game. Or I did just enough. I reacted. I got a clutch steal. I did something that helped us win the game. I looked at the market as that from like a monthly perspective. There may be some days where I may miss or I may win or things of that nature. But at the end of the day, did you have a good month? Did you have a bad month? Okay, if you had a bad month, what do you do in basketball? You study film. You study all the things you did wrong. You studied why you fouled too much or why you fouled out. You studied why you can't play defense. You try to get better. And that's the same with the market. So the one thing in terms of psychology is I don't care no more, because my psychology is more so that you just got to react to what the market does. And if it goes well, great. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. Kobe Bryant is one of the best players of all time. He also missed the most NBA shots of all time. You go to baseball, Barry Bonds, or is it either Barry Bonds or Hank Aaron, they got the most home runs in MLB history. They also got the most strikeouts. Seriously? Like, that's just the reality. You can be great, but you could also have mess ups. That doesn't take away from how great you are. And when I realized that, it was like, got it. Just react to the market.
Yeah. Oh, that is very good advice. Now, what about, like, I just want to dive back, and we're going to wrap up the show soon, but when you were doing your 30 to 40 trades or 14 to 30 trades a week, that's a lot of trades. And I think at some point, you might have even been doing more than a handful a day, or we had to be doing more than a handful a day, maybe 5, 10 a day or something. Sure. Were there any points where you got to the point where you were like going on tilt, like you were just off the rails? Right, I've lost 3 in a row now, and I'm going crazy, and I'm gonna take this trade that's not on my plan, and I'm just gonna take it anyway. And how did you have any sort of techniques that helped you get over that, if that was ever the case?
No, I've never had a raging moment with the market. If anything, I may just close my phone and be like, okay, I'm not trading for a week. I'm going to take the next week off and call it a day. I'm really, really level-headed. But there was one moment in my first year, I think it was my first year and a half, where I was in college and I didn't really have too much money, but I had a $10 account. I think like the minimum you could deposit was like either 10 or 20. It was like one of those super unregulated brokers that allowed me to deposit that. And I talk about this all the time. This was still the worst loss I've ever taken in a Forex market. I don't care about losing 5, 10, 15, 20,000 nowadays. This is still the worst loss I've ever taken. I had a $10 account. And then I forgot how the story went because it's so long ago, but long story short, I woke up at 2:00 in the morning. My roommate was asleep. I was studying London session. I studied London session for 3 hours straight, was trading, and I had I used penny lots, and I made, I think, $5 or $6, and I felt so liberated. Like, all the studying I've been doing, it just went well. I'll never forget it. Something happened with USD CAD. It was a pair I've never traded before, really. And I was like, well, this looks good. I know structure. I know market structure. Okay, cool. I'm just going to trade it. And I traded it, and I used a 0.2, not a 0.1, a 0.2, just a little bit. And within like 20 minutes, it completely lost, like it wiped away the $5 I just made plus the extra $6 or $7. So that $10 account I had that just turned to 15 is at like $3 now. And mind you, I'm a broke college student. So like once that happened, that was probably my lowest point in the market. Mind, just my first year in, that was my lowest point where I literally sat in bed. I didn't cry, but I'm not a crier, but that was my first time where I felt like emotional, where I was like, this may not be for me. That was the only time I've ever questioned it. Then I woke up and got right back into it.
Cool. Now, we'll wrap up the show with a few quick fire questions here. You are, like, to me, you're probably the Tai Lopez of the Forex world in terms of the books that you've read. And I say that because you just mentioned you read 3 hours a day. And I've seen some videos that you've done where you're like, here are the books that I'm reading. You've got 10 books out. And I'm like, I'm lucky if I get through one a month on Audible. What would be your recommended book for traders? And then for, I suppose, and then for anyone.
Yeah, I would say Market Wizards is probably one of my favorite ones with traders because it's just a bunch of interviews of actual traders in the world. Like one of the traders in there named Michael, he made 80 million over like a 8 or 9 year period, which averages out to 8 or 9 million, per year, which is amazing. And people don't understand that. Like that is amazing. Like people over here trying to make $1 million a day, and it's just like these are literal traders, the best traders in the world. Focus on making, a few million a year, sometimes 8, sometimes 1, but they're cool. So Market Wizards is my favorite Forex book, probably. As far as my favorite book in life, I would say The Richest Man in Babylon, for sure. Richest Man in Babylon is still my favorite book ever.
I've never read that one. That's definitely my next listen on Audible. What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
Forex.com. I use a regulated broker. I use one unregulated just for gold purposes, like for the leverage, but because Forex doesn't let you trade gold leverage. But other than that, you will catch me on a regulated broker.
Hey folks, ever wonder what broker I use? Well, I use Hanko Trade. It was a no-brainer because I was looking for a broker with good trading conditions and one that wouldn't restrict my leverage. Now, by joining Hanko Trade, I've also cut down my trading costs significantly with their super low commission of just $1 per 100K. You can learn more at hankotrade.com or just click the link I've put in the description. Do you want to walk us through your worst ever trade?
Yeah, the one I just talked about.
That was the worst one. Yeah.
In my life, I don't care how many times I lose 5,000. That is the worst trade I've ever taken. I almost cried. I don't cry at all, bro.
Okay, brilliant. Well, last question. Do you want to leave our listeners? If you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Do not give yourself a time limit on when you can succeed in this market. I hear people all the time saying, I bought this course, I bought this thing, I did this live trading thing, and I'm still not profitable. You cannot put your worries on the market. Please do not do that. Do not give yourself a time limit. Like for me, even though I started becoming consistently profitable my fourth-ish year, if I never got on Big Brother, I was fully prepared to be a babysitter for another 3 or 4 years until it happened. I don't for me, it's like, I don't care if Q got it in 6 months. I don't care if I got it in 4 years. I don't care if Alex got it in 2 years. I don't care if Sean got it in 1 year. Like you coming in, you're different. You may get it faster than all of us. It also may take you a little bit longer, but you may be better than all of us. But do not give yourself a time limit because it's like you want Forex to be the solution to all your problems right now. That's not what it's supposed to. It can be that, but how can it be that if you just give it a 1 year time limit and just quit? That's my one biggest piece of advice. Do everything you got to do. Buy these courses, join these different things, learn on YouTube, trial and error, but do not quit. Like that's the biggest thing. Oh, also one last thing I want to say is that people want to talk about, this is the one thing I love saying. People want to talk about 90% of day traders fail and use that as, okay, now I'll never make money. I want somebody to look up this stat to go on Google. How many day traders are there in the world? Like if 90% fail, how many day traders are there, including people like us? And I got like 20,000 students in my course alone. That's just me. Imagine Q, imagine Astro, imagine people who's trading, like people within these banks. Let's just say there's 1 million traders in the world. So 10% of profit means 100,000 people are profitable. It's basically saying you have a better chance at being a day trader than going to the NBA or playing a professional sport, which has like a 0.001% chance of getting there. But all these people out here are saying, go to the NBA, chase your dreams. And they never tell you that those stats when it comes to day trading. It's risky. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that. Yeah. I get it, but no, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Or parents will put their kids into, the latest sports programs for $5,000 a term or whatever it is, a school term, and then they spend $20,000 a year. It's like, oh, I want a $1,000 Forex course, Dad. No, son, but we'll pay for this.
Immediately, I don't understand. Your son has a better chance at being a great trader than ever going to the NBA. The NBA has been open for 70, 80, 90 years. Only 5,000 people or players have ever played in the NBA. Yeah. That's it.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is mad.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's been awesome having you on, Chris. I've really appreciated your time and what you've shared with us today. I think this is going to be a top episode. Before we wrap up, what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
If you want to look at my social media, I'm on Instagram a lot at Swaggy C TV. My YouTube is the Swag Academy. My Twitter is Swaggy C TV. The program that I have right now is www.livetradinglab.com. I'm really pushing that because a lot of people, want to see me trade live, want to trade live with me, want me to critique their trades, vice versa, all in real time. I'm pushing that over my course. Main reason because the course is the program, like it is what it is. You can watch it by yourself, or you can trade live with me, and we can do it all in real time. So www.livetradinglab.com. That is where I'm active every single day, and that's where you can find me.
Brilliant. Well, look, a big thank you to Chris for sharing with us today everything we discussed there, along with the links that he's all just mentioned now. Well, to find them, simply search for Chris or Swaggy C in the search box on tradingnut.com. Until next time, wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. Right, folks, there you have it. Interview done and dusted with Chris. Now, I told you it was a good one, right? Guys, please go and listen to this again because there are some absolutely massive nuggets in here. Getting someone who's been through the full journey in the last few years is really a treat for us. So, don't forget, we did record a video after it where he breaks down his trading strategy, so how he analyzes the chart, and there is a bit of a prediction in there as well, which I've been able to confirm and update and added a little piece of the video to that as well. So definitely go and check that out. Links under this video here if you're on the YouTube channel, or if you're on the podcast, then it'll be in the podcast description. Remember, Trading Nut Funded Cup, go and check out those results, see how those traders are doing in the leaderboard over there at citytradersimperium.com, and also the Robot Builders Club. The doors are open in August for the OMB bot. So this is a bot that trades the open market break of a candle. So if you guys want to go and find out all about that, then you're going to need to join the Robot Builders Club. Head over there, links under the video. I teach you how to build trading robots. That's essentially what I do. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.